Welcome to my review of the Dudios M3, as it states there. This is a new release from them. It's priced very competitively, around £27, I think, from when I checked just before this video. And as a disclaimer, they set this out to me. I was not paid anything, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, let's get into the review. So let's see actually what you get. So that's what they look like. They're kind of like AirPod Pro kind of form factor. Same with substance, quality sound, sweat resistant, stable connection and touch control, as you do. Information, version 5 Bluetooth. And one thing it doesn't state is they actually support AAC. That's what I used to test with my phone. And I tested these with my Poco F2 Pro, which obviously is an Android phone. But it does actually have AAC and it doesn't state that. Charging time up to 1.5 hours, that's about right. Work time up to 5 hours. I didn't get 5. I probably got anything between 4.5 hours to 5. Just depends on the actual volume level. 10 meters range, that's about right. Frequency response 20 Hz, 20 kHz, that's fine. It's a 10mm dynamic. There's some company information, and it just HSP, HFP, AVRCP, and A2DP profiles. And yeah, let's get into it. It's a very plain box, and as a slight spoiler, I've used them. When you first get them, the actual buds will actually be in there, and that's the case. Very compact, which I'll talk about in a bit. Cable, as I've used it, it is a Type C. And get this out. So yeah, I actually use this cable to charge it. It works fine. It will focus. There you go. So Type C, obviously to full size USB, works fine. Tips, small, medium and large. The mediums seem to be the same that's fitted, and it comes fitted with medium tips. Same with substance, I think just warranty information. There you go. And the actual manual, which is very useful, which I'll run through in a bit. And that's the case. So 4 lights, 1 on its own is 25%, 2 50, 3 75, and 4 is 100, which is obviously very usual and straightforward. If you've used them for a while and you pop them back in for charging, the first one and the fourth one, they will illuminate white to indicate that it's actually charging the actual buds. So Type C underneath, nothing on the back, nothing on the top. That's what they look like. Some information in there, if you focus, just some input 5V 1A, FC, Dudios M3, and an FCC ID number. As you can see, I'll go into more of those in a bit. And that's it. I'll go through the manual, and then after that I will do a microphone test. But yeah, I'll show you the manual now. So here's the manual, which is very useful. English, Espanol, so Spanish and Chinese. So running through the information, obviously you get the 2 buds, which I'll show you in a bit. Charge cable, tips, so it's actually extra small, medium and large. The case, and obviously this guide. There's the information, like I said before, it's 10 meter range, version 5, and AAC, which it doesn't show. Earbuds charging time about 1.5 hours. Playtime 5 hours. Well, it's actually about, it can range between 4:30 and 5, and these do have their own volume control. So they've got a volume control on here, and obviously a volume control on your phone. Charge case you can charge them about 4 times from the case. That depends on your use, but you'll be any time between 3 and 4 times, just depending. 2.5 hours to charge a case, that's about right. There's earbud dimensions. These are not very big, so it's not really a big deal. So how they work, as you can see, they got a lot of functions. They do work in mono. MFB is just a button, the multifunction button. So you power them on, you just take them out the case, or manually do it for 1.5 seconds. All this, if you use TWS earphones, it's all very straightforward. Power off, basically the reverse of powering on, but 3 seconds manually. Play, pause is tap it twice. Previous track, next track, press and hold. End call, it's all straightforward information. Obviously volume up and down, and obviously does work with voice assistants. So not all Bluetooth TWSs actually have volume control, so that's one thing to pay attention of. Wearing them, usual. Pairing, it does. You can hear the audible tones. Mono mode, which is this part's quite important. Mono mode seems to only use the left one as a master. So to use mono mode, it should state it here. If it isn't, you have to take them out the case, then it pairs with your phone, and then you have to put back the right one, and then you can just use the left one independent. The pairing, how to do like a master reset if it's any issues. So you have to hold it for 10 seconds, charging. What I said about 25, 50, 75 and 100, it's all very, very straightforward. Let's see, I nearly missed a page. Say charge indicator and warranty. Then on to Spanish. So that's it, very simple to use, like no issues at all. And yeah, I will do a microphone test now, and you can see what they sound like. This is just a quick mic test of the Dudios M3. I'm using them in stereo. I'm in a quiet room and I'm just using normal speaking volume. And that's it, just a quick mic test of the Dudios M3. So let's actually go into what these look and sound like. So like I said before, this is the case, take them out. Very small, as you see, I don't have very big hands, but as a case, it's very compact. Type C, it's good to see more and more getting Type C. So this is the left one, little vent there. I'm not sure what the black dot does, they both have them. But yeah, L for left, obviously R for right. 2 of the actual there is for charging. That's the microphone. And that's it, that's the MFB. And obviously there's the brand D. It's the multifunction button. I've already explained how it all works. It's all very straightforward. Oval shaped, which I didn't really expect when the tips are actually circular. So you have to just put it on. It's kind of hard to do it on camera, but I had no issues with comfort, so that's what it looks like. As you say, the kind of Apple Pod Pro type of size. Comfort on these I found was perfectly fine. I had no issues at all with comfort. Comfort was good. Isolation, I'd say isolation was good as well. No issues. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. I'd say it's kind of in the middle. But yeah, comfort was good. These are quite light. Like there's no real strain on your ear, so the comfort was actually fine. Imaging and stage was okay, nothing special, but you know, it's okay. He performed okay for the actual for the price that these are, and these are competitively priced. Sound, I'd say they're slightly on the warmer side. They're not overly bassy or anything like that. I'd say like what I say, they're consumer tuned, which means they kind of play it safe. They don't have loads of bass. They're not overly bright. They're kind of fairly balanced sound signature to cover most people. Vocals are okay. They're not really that forward, but they're not really that push back. So vocals is okay. For electronic music, these did a good job. Well, and I'll try this with a few different pop tracks like Little Mix, Sam Smith. Then I've tried it with some psytrance, and it works fine for a few different genres. But the fit was actually good. I say these are very, very easy to use. The buttons and actual use case. It takes a couple of tries to get used to like the button commands. But you'll be able to get used to that. It's like, you know, without a problem. I personally do prefer a real button, because then you do have full control. Because sometimes if you don't press it like right, or if you do it wrong, you can make mistakes. But I do prefer a real button. But for what these are, they're okay. You just have to get used to the commands. So for vocals, it's okay. There's no real sibilance or nothing like that. I think the tuning was kind of safe. Instrument separation was okay. They can get a touch muddy in any complex pieces of music, but for like I say, for the projected price, it's not really a big deal. It's not a big deal at all, really. So yeah, I tried these with YouTube. No issues with latency or anything like that. It worked fine. I only did use AAC with my phone with no real issues. I haven't tried any gaming, so I don't know what the delay would be like for that. But for my use, it works fine. For phone calls, it works fine. It sounds a little distant, but as you can see, I've already done a recording, so it's best to make your own mind up from that. And I think that's it with the review. And on to the conclusion. That's what they look like. So my conclusion of the Dudios M3s, I think these for around the mid-20s, which is what they're currently priced for. I think that work perfectly fine for that. It's good the actual case is Type-C. It has the 4 LEDs, so you know if it's charging. There is no LEDs actually on the actual earphones themselves, but to me that's not a big deal. The comfort's good. They sound okay for the price. They work perfectly fine. They do have AAC, which is a bonus for any iPhone users. And they do work. Overall, they do work very well. As I say, they are now in a market which is competitively priced as well, and there's a lot of competition. But for my use case, they actually work. They work pretty good. So yeah, thanks for watching. And any questions, as usual, just let me know in the comments, and take care.